This might sound rude, but none of the big 3 or 4 English streamers got this one, so. Ah, I closed the bracket, no! My source of power! Okay. So Elazer versus some guy named MODEUS on the bracket. His name is Messiah of Dark. So, I guess I'll put MODEUS as his name right now. Who even knows? All right. In the top left, as the red Zerg, it is Elazer. In the top right, as the blue Terran, it is MODEUS, who's on a recognizable clan. I don't know much about him. Random was beating the odds for Ziggy, yeah. But, and not to spark any controversy or anything, a lot of Terrans, especially the non-Korean Terrans, but let's be real, even the Korean Terrans, right? Like, will say that their worst matchup is versus Protoss. And a lot of them would even probably say that they do get defeated by ex-MMR below right Protoss player. That's just kind of where we're at right now. And it's not going to change for some time. The perception of TVP has almost never been in a great state, if we're being honest, right? It's always the matchup that's like probably brought up first in terms of complaints. And okay, like maybe everyone's like, yeah, because Terrans are the biggest whiners. It's... I feel like it's more because it's such an easily lopsided matchup. All right. So while we watch 2 regular openers here, Modi's actually going for a scout though. It's a little different. Just dig a little into that, right? It's that, yeah, it just feels lopsided whenever something is wrong, and even when it's not wrong, there's always going to be this vitriol about, you know, well, whose army is more complex, whose is harder to use. Which I shan't give my opinion on, but I think we all know who yells at who, right? But anyways, when it comes to Zerg, maybe it's a little bit different, and you know, Zerg don't think that it's impossible, but they do think that, you know, defeating Protoss is dependent on X, Y, or Z, and it just feels like this matchup, sorry, not this one, this one's TVZ. That matchup just gets the hate first, right? This matchup, though, bringing it back to the first cast here, I don't know why we're getting some, like, lag, but apparently we are. Anyways. The Reaper is being very dangerous. Okay, alrighty then. Didn't really need to do that, but there is an exit path, so I guess it's all good. It sees a third base, too. I would say this is not the usual third base taken, but okay, alright. I see he scouted the other one, I guess. Maybe that's why Elazer just figured it would maybe block with a bunker or something. So anyways, this matchup might have its problems occasionally, where one race is better looking than the other one, or straight up has a better win rate. But this one has been the true champion of StarCraft, like in general. I really thoroughly enjoy watching the pros play TVP in Brood War, but I hate playing it in Brood War. There's a lot of complaints there probably in playing it, but watching it's fantastic. But TVZ is still the one that like probably is the most remembered, and that's definitely true for StarCraft 2. Year 0 though, you're gonna get maybe a bit of a different Terran versus Zerg than you would usually expect. I think this does go into more Cyclone mech than any other map, although it is still dependent on the person and just like what style you think might be good against who you're facing. Now MODEUS, the guy that we don't know much of, is facing Elazer, and Elazer we know a lot of. Elazer is probably a shoo-in to get in through either one of these qualifiers, right? That's just the given. Maybe it's not through the winner's bracket, maybe it's not in the first qualifier, but point is like eventually he'll get through. That means that MODEUS, unless he faces him on ladder a lot or something, probably won't be able to say like, oh, I know exactly what his weakness is, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. It's probably gonna be a struggle for this guy. But this Terran player has gotten here, you know, beaten 2 other players so far. Players that we don't really recognize, don't have a lot of weight to their name, Dietri and Gertos. But this would certainly, if he takes even a single game off Elazer, would prove quite a bit. So Hellion Banshee with Cloak, A little bit of a Hellion pressure. A bit more Hellion pressure. There wasn't an armory. I didn't think there was one thrown down. There's not, but he's not stopping producing Hellions. And like another way you can even tell that's happening is that you see that there's no third CC in the wall, which Elazer did see. And he also saw the factory still hasn't lifted up. So with this type of sign, like, you should be suspicious of a Hellbat attack. But MODEUS isn't really going for the Hellbats. He does hit on an armory, but also throws down a second armory, and is going to be going for some macro, right? Probably into the Cyclone mech, as standard mech just isn't really seen a lot in Year Zero. But if you're not going to do a Hellbat attack, then I feel like you do just go ahead and get that third CC after 6 Hellions, and then the armory and whatever. I feel like maybe MODEUS was like thinking about doing an actual Hellbat attack and then got maybe thrown off by the Lings or something, but either way, this third CC is not as fast as it could be, so defording everything off your factories as well as double upgrades with an already delayed third, and we're not even talking about the potential delays of Elazer's like run-bys or anything like that, it's going to be expensive. It's definitely going to be expensive. Double Banshee does not end up getting very much. This one actually very, very injured. Elazer already figuring out, again, the signs of at least a Hellbat attack, but if not a Hellbat attack, probably the mech opener, continued Hellion production. It figures out it's mech, and it's also Year Zero again, so a lot of mech games happen on this one. Is already in a Roaches, which is a safe call, and then is adding on Infestation Pit, probably going to skyrocket up to that Hive, but some people do like playing Swarm Hosts against this style, or any type of mech style. So I'm going to hold off on that and, see if it goes for the Hive or Swarm Hosts. Third CC is going to be put over ASAP, so I've been waiting for the Orbital. That does help certainly cover the time of how late it was comparatively to some other builds. So the gas is also coming up immediately, which you definitely need. And there's no pressure. There's also no Cyclones being built. So with Cyclones, you do usually see that single armory, but there are definitely builds where you still get both. Nate always talks about how an attack upgrade still affects that type of composition, but it's not Cyclone mech. He is building just tanks, no Cyclone upgrade on the way, which sometimes you start off with tanks and it's safe, and then you go into the Cyclone upgrade. Nope. Just actually Hellion tank, some Vikings, Thors if necessary in the future, but alright, standard mech it is. So Elazer does not go for the Swarm Host, is in fact going for that faster Hive. Against mech, their push is going to be just a little bit further off. It's going to be slower as well, and you can get to those Vipers, and then also if you're really good at this game, you can get to Vipers and a close to maxed out or just simply maxed out army before the mech push out happens. So that's the ideal situation, also with a lot of creep, right? And so for our Elazer is setting himself up for the ideal. 4 bases with creep spread, with 73 drones. Not a lot of aggression on the side of MODEUS's side of the map, but that's not your goal, that's not your goal. Like, you are getting up to where you want to be in a macro game, ready to take that tank push, if they even do it. Maybe they're more turtly, but still. And ready to just, like, absolutely squash it and force the Terran player to go packing. A drop does try to occur, which is a cool idea. It doesn't really work, though. Double upgrade started ASAP, so the timings here not too bad for the Terran player. 2-2 has started for Elazer as well. And he's trying to get that 5th base, but these Hellions / Hellbats probably should take care of it. If he had transformation servos, they are already done with the hatchery and transforming to roll out. But he doesn't, so, and he didn't choose to sacrifice them as Hellbats. So that actually is actually gonna live. But not taking the opportunity as the Roaches go a little too far forward to get into that 3rd base. Not a bad call there, but it's not even really that saturated because this is the 4th base. And it was taken so quickly, the first 3 bases still, that's where the majority of the drones are gonna be. 4th base on location for Terran, more factories. I mean, if he was gonna push right, it's probably not going to be until that 2-2. And, of course, until he's a little more maxed out. Just at 125 supply right now. Yeah, that push won't work, right? But this is scary. This means that even though MODEUS might have, like, this nice setup for the future, he's at a very low supply right now as Elazer gets set up. Elazer, again, 5 bases, creep spread, a lot of drones. Also now with tech and army. Can now start to control MODEUS, can start to ping pong back and forth through the 4th base. force them to reposition, force them to take bad trades, and it's especially going to be easier because MODEUS isn't really spending his money that well. This should be more of like maybe a 160 supply army that's easier to split, but it's actually not even there. And then also some important tanks get chewed off to the left side. These tanks here are all types of bunched up, so the Vipers were a little late to the party. Now they can go for, well, I don't know if the Ducks is the right call. I thought they were going to Blinding Cloud for sure, but attack up to the top side. A single Banshee is actually doing some work here. Helmlings tried to bypass the army, but ultimately failed as the Roaches caught him. And while Elazer, I mean, isn't like smoothly running over this Terran, he is running over the Terran. It's just like some speed bumps along the way. Oh, there was a tank there. There's two tanks there, actually. So that's probably going to be it. Yeah, it is. Scans go down to reveal everything that Elazer has, and MODEUS just could not keep up with Elazer. I don't want to look into it too deeply yet, but it does seem that MODEUS might not be, I mean, how to say it? MODEUS might be more like just like a GM, which sounds like, it sounds stupid to say that, like just a GM, like it's still pretty impressive, but when you compare them to the pro gamers, especially to the pro gamers that like win championships, it's like, yeah, you're good, but you still get run over by these guys. But not even be that he's okay, he's 5,900 MMR. So yeah, that's, yeah, I'm sticking with my story. So GM, an impressive MMR, like that's not bad at all, but against a Elazer with a passive style too, one that you kind of give Elazer time to bulk up and do what he needs to do, like you're probably not gonna have a great time. Maybe if you do live till like 15 or 16 minutes, maybe that's when mech just becomes that really, like everyone rolls their eyes and goes like, oh, cool turtling, bro. But they didn't even get close really in that game. So game number 2 is on the way. Port Alexander. See if MODEUS has any other ways of playing the game, any other modes of playing this game. You got him. Because that mech didn't really work out so hot. Not so hot. Ooh. Looks like TwitchCon Europe is actually giving some good reveals. I'll go into that after the introductions. And the bottom right, up one, it is the red Zerg Elazer. And the top left, as the blue Terran, it is MODEUS. MODEUS. Who I wanted to say is Russian, but I could literally check. Hold on. Yeah, okay, he is. Because I recall Star, like Vanya's on Star Team, I think. It's very familiar. It just like it has Russian in my brain for some reason. I think that's why. There's also a ton of Russian participants. Now, I'm going to say something that maybe I shouldn't say, but chat, if you have any idea more than you probably have even better than mine. There's an awkward thing where WCS Spring is in Kiev, and Ukraine and Russia are kind of having some issues, but I don't know what that means for the events for StarCraft UK. We're gonna find out. Anyways, if you have an idea as what they're gonna do about that, then guess away, I suppose. But yeah, there are a lot of Russian participants in today's qualifiers. Russia and Poland and France, I'm gonna guess, are like the most represented in these opens, but I mean, I haven't actually done the math. I haven't counted everyone. But it just seems like whenever I scroll through, those are most of the countries that I see. Like, I don't even see, I think, Gung Fu's German, but then I don't even see anyone from Germany here. Showtime's not here. It's, of course, very possible they were knocked out already. I'm looking at people who have made it to the round of, I guess, what, 16 here? Anyways, doesn't really matter, just buying time, just talking about something as opposed to nothing, as once again, the most interesting thing here is that MODEUS does once again SCV Scout, which, more power to you. It's not really that bad. And you could even delay a third hatchery, force them to take the other one, if you really wanted to. Thank you, bro, Manatee, for the 8 months, just a GM. What a scrub. Exactly. But seriously, that's why whenever someone's like, you know, oh, you're not very good at, or hold on, whenever someone is like, you're good at StarCraft, anyone who knows StarCraft has to go, no, I'm not very good at StarCraft. And then whenever someone is being a dick and they say, you're not very good at StarCraft, you say, duh, we're all not very good at StarCraft. Like, when you really get down to it, no one's really that great except the pros that are digging so damn deep into their mechanics and their tiny little differences of how soon they throw down that hatchery, how soon they throw down that barracks. It just gets insane how much you have to practice, how much you have to pinpoint your weaknesses. It's just not comparable, even to someone who is still like top 1%. But then you need to be the top 1% of the 1%, right? Like, it just gets insane. But that's kind of, I mean, that last game, well, it might be a lot of things. And maybe Year Zero is not MODEUS' map. Maybe that style is something he's not comfortable with, and he thought maybe it could be abused, so he tried it for one time, right? Maybe he's nervous because he hasn't played in a Challenger for a while. I don't know, right? It could be a lot of things. It also could just simply be, yeah, that's exactly what would happen. Someone around that MMR would still get trampled by someone like Elazer. Like, it's totally possible. But I did mention in the last game, right, that it seems like MODEUS' Hellbat plan was thrown off. Like, he wanted to do Hellbats earlier and then was, like, scouted or just figured it wouldn't work or something and just kept producing Hellions without the armory and then went to, like, a macro game. It was odd. This time, we do have that even slightly fast armory, right, as the first 2 Hellions have been produced. So he'll have 6 and then a medevac with Marines. So the classic Hellbat attack, really. I think this was the first Hellbat attack that was utilized versus Zerd. Now, this Ling does not get sight on the Marines, but it once again sees that there's going to be a full wall off here, not a 3rd command center wall off. So it's already something we can be like, oh, hold on. And then, even if the Zerg player doesn't quite realize it's a Hellbat attack, if they have Queens in position on creep, it doesn't really look that bad. So we'll see what happens here. Actually, this is kind of bad as the Lings go forward here. There was a wall. It just wasn't lifted. The SCVs are going to die. The Hellbat attack will be eventually taken care of here. And MODEUS is probably going to die. Yep. Thank you, Stixid1, the Twitch Prime sub. And that's the power of Queens. Not even in that much of a concave, but they were backed up by a ton of Lings, so it was easier for them to take care of it. That is it. GG, good luck. But it's still a good sport. Will be dropped down to the lower bracket as Elazer